What is up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Um, Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the what are we doing? See Us podcast. I've been on this joint for the last 2 days. So if y'all saw me yesterday, you're seeing me again. If you're tired of me, oh well. Here we are. Because there's always something to do, something to talk about. So welcome for another episode of the See Us podcast. As y'all know, we cover the stories of people who are unseen and unheard, and their stories really, really need to be heard, which is all of us as people. If you are connected with me on social media, or even if you aren't, a lot of y'all may have seen my post from yesterday about a mom of seven. Five of those kids are at home, and they've been dealing with some horrific circumstances when it comes to housing. Mom is a go-getter, a doer. Like mom shows up for them babies, shows up for herself, has been putting in the work, and it's like no matter what she does and what she tries, she finds herself still in this precarious circumstances, which is just unfair. Like the level of trauma is unimaginable. Just straight up unimaginable. I couldn't fathom putting myself in the position that she and her babies have been put in. I really very much can't. And so I want to first shout out everybody who ponied up. You know, everyone who showed up for this mom yesterday. I mean, so many of y'all reached out and was like, "Hey, check this out." So many of y'all offer like, "Hey, like we can do this." Shout out to the AIU for putting up the family in a safe, comfortable, clean place for the next 5 days so that they have somewhere to lay their heads to shower without any issues. Shout out to the AIU for that. Shout out to everyone else who offered to donate and do whatever it is that you can do to support this family. They are not out of the weeds yet, but it is our intention to get them out of the weeds. So I'm not comfortable with telling anybody else's story other than giving general overviews. And when I tell y'all, like, I just kind of scratched the surface. When I had told y'all like what was going on, I was very much just scratching the surface. Like, please believe me, like the story is wild, like it's wrenching. It's very much like just, oh my God, like why would anybody be put in this position? And what's the wildest part for me is just the lack of care and consideration for the parties who are involved, namely, quite frankly, the landlord, and quite frankly, like HUD, like like just the way that it was handled, to my knowledge, to the best of my understanding. Now, I'm going to bring on mom. Again, I don't like telling anyone else's story for them. So, mom gave us consent and was okay with telling her own story. And so she's here to say what's been going on so that if y'all have any questions, comments, and if y'all have any more resources, leads, support, prayers, whatever it is that you can offer, please continue to send them. Shout out to y'all again. Like, I mean, I've been getting emails, I've been getting text messages, I've been getting Facebook messages, folks commenting still on the post, the original post, sharing the original post. It's been absolutely beautiful to watch like our community show up. And that's one thing I will say is when we show up, when we know it's time to pony up for each other, like everybody like, okay, let's go. And that's what I've been seeing. So I appreciate y'all for that. But if y'all have anything else, if you could think of anything else, I don't care big, small, or indifferent, please feel free to share it. So we can make sure that this family, this mom and her babies are safe and out of this situation. So enough of me running my mouth. I am going to bring on mom. If you all would join me in welcoming Tamika Johnson.
Hi,
Tamika,
Shannon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better now, thanks to everybody. I appreciate everything that everybody's been doing for me and the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that folks, like I said, like I'm glad that folks just knew to just like, okay, we got to be here. And like, just like the feeling, I felt the connectedness. I don't think that you seen the post. Maybe you did. I don't know if it was shared with you or not. But what I can say is that like there was like that collective, compassion. It was like everyone was like, no, this is not okay. It was like folks were stopping what they were doing. I mean, folks were reaching out middle of the night, like, hey, check this out too. I'm praying for y'all. Like, I've been thinking about this family. Like, I've been praying for this family because I couldn't imagine. So, like, there's definitely been a lot of love for you and y'all. And I very much appreciate like just the strength that you've had throughout all of this. Cause I've been kind of in your orbit for a while. And I didn't know that y'all were still in this turmoil. I did not know until Chris reached out and said like, "Hey, I got some bad news." And when he told me what was going on, I was like, "How? Like, just how?" So yeah, I just appreciate that you've been keeping your faith and staying strong for you and your babies. And I want to just let you know that like we're still out here with you and for you. So before like, and let me rein myself in because like I've been like charged up, like I've been charged up since Chris called me about it. Let me first ask, where are you from, Tamika?
I'm originally from Apopka, Florida, in Orlando area, but recently I've been all over the place.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what brought you to? Because you're in like Allegheny County now, right?
Right.
What brought you up here?
So my mother, she got real sick all of a sudden. She has COPD, congestive heart failure, lung disease. So I just was like, I don't want to be way down here and something happens to my mother, and then I'm stuck and I can't, be around her. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna move me and my kids up here, so I can be close to my mother and I can help her as best as I can while helping myself.
Mm, mm. Okay. Well, that's what's up. So from Florida, mom got really ill, and you wanted to be close to mom to make sure that she wasn't alone and you weren't away from her in these really like tough times. Came up to Allegheny County, and then what happened? Like, was everything stable from then? Has it been a challenge since you've been here?
So I was staying in the house. Everything seemed well. The landlord was kind of iffy. I would call him, and he'd be like, "Well, I don't get off my couch on Sundays and Saturdays, so I'll see you Monday." Regardless of what happened. Basement was over flooding. Um, a lot of things was happening. I had to wait over the weekend for him to come. So I was like, you know what? I'll just deal with it. Just stay from downstairs, go and wash clothes or whatever. So one day I come home and my house is on fire, and the fire department's there trying to put it out. My kids are screaming and crying because they love the cats. So I tried to open the door to see if I could call the cat, and the fire just like whoosh and pushed me back. So I was like, well, I pray to God that which eventually the cat end up dying or whatever. And they end up putting it out and only burnt the downstairs. So I had to the landlord, I didn't at this point, I was naive and I didn't have renter's insurance. So I had to put me and the kids up in a hotel for like 2 months while he did the repairs for us to come back. Because it started because of faulty wiring in the wall. Um, so Red Cross helped out for about 7 days and I had to pay for the rest myself. And so after that we went back and apparently he like put like band-aids on top of big wounds because shortly afterwards there was big animals coming in my house. Like there was a raccoon that came in. There was big rats and stuff. To the point where I had to put my stuff in Tupperware. To the point where the kids didn't. There was mites like coming out from them soaking it. The firefighters, they soaked it, and when they pulled up the carpet, there was like deep mold and it had mites in it. And I was wondering, what was biting my kids up and stuff. Because, boys, they like to be on the floor a lot. So, yeah, that's what that was. So, I left everything. I left everything and just went to a shelter because I had nowhere to go. So then after that, we were in a shelter for about 6 months, but the hours that I work and stuff, by the time I would get back to the shelter, they'd be like, the shelter that we were at, they were like, oh well, you missed dinner, so either you're gonna have to stay out all night because the shelter had a curfew, and by the time I got off, it was past the curfew. So they said if I left, I had to stay out all night, or I just couldn't feed the kids until the next day, to the point where, I was sneaking food up in like garbage bags with clothes, just like little sandwiches and stuff, so I can feed them. When I got upstairs, I had to sneak it up there because we weren't allowed food upstairs. Um, then a couple, before that, rewind. I was sleeping in my car uh, for a couple days until I called, until I called to get into the shelter, and that's what led me there. So I dealt with that. Then I ended up finding a house. Well, I didn't find it. Some of the people that worked in the shelter that were really nice, they helped me find a house that they thought was suitable for us. We stayed there for, I want to say, 2 months until I started getting very sick. My son was getting so sick, he fell out during football, and I had the health inspector come over, and there was mold so bad in the walls. Um, the sewage backed up and ruined all of me and my kids' clothes because we weren't even in there long enough to unpack. Our clothes were down in the basement. There was like, and that's where the boys' bedroom was. Well, it was supposed to be a bedroom. There was no ceiling. They wouldn't fix it. They said if I wanted to put the work in there, I could. Um, there was a lot where I had to go and had get on nebulizers. I had to have breathing treatments. My asthma started worsening because of the mold. So I went to court. She was trying not to give me my security deposit back or my first month's rent. I'm like, look, I haven't even been living there. I couldn't stay there. It was making me and my kids sick. So I ended up back in a hotel, which I was really distraught about that. A couple days I slept in the car again. So it was like, God, what did I do? And if I did do something, can you let me know so I could try to, rectify the situation or whatever? And so there was a shining light. Well, at least I thought. Um, we found this house that I'm just that brought me to this podcast right now. Um, we've been staying there since July. I've never met the landlord. She only talks to me on the phone. She talks very, very rudely to me. She calls me "you people." Every time I ask her, could she come fix something? I'm like, well, I only been here 2 months. I'm washing dishes. I put my silverware in the drawer. Where you put your silverware in the drawer beside the dish drainer or whatever after you dry them. The whole drawer just fell down. I called her about that. She was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You fix or you give me make sure you have my rent on time. I'm like, it's the middle of the month. You already got your rent in the beginning. Why are you We're talking about something that needs to be fixed. So she was a dead case. She had a housing manager, but he was like 87 years old. So, and he was the one that was, I guess, putting the house together for her before we moved in there. When I walked in, I was kind of pleased because of, his age and stuff. It took him like 3 months. We were every day, he was in there with us, basically living in there with us because he was there from morning till night trying to call himself fixing things. And I felt bad for him because he's older. I even offered to get one of my brothers that are carpenters to come and help him, but he didn't want any help because he didn't want to pay anybody. So, and she didn't want to pay anybody, and I guess the guy was cheap. So as I start living there, I'm starting like, I'm like, what in the world? I lean on the counter. It's like an island, like a long island, like an island in the middle of your kitchen. I lean on it, the whole thing flips over. I'm like, what? I thought this was supposed to be attached to the wall in the cabinets. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll try to pay somebody to fix this. I'm not. This is what we got for now, so I got to try to make it work. Because she's not going to fix anything. Um, then the floor, like how people put vinyl floor down, it just started coming up. I'm mopping the floor and it just slides across the floor. I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. Then my son comes flying in there. He's 9 years old. They like to run a lot and he cuts his foot open. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, God, is this a sign that it's going to get worse? And yes, it was. So after that, the toilet just stopped working. It just started being, clogged. I called the plumber. The plumber was like, the septic needs to get plunged. The urine and feces was coming up through the sink. We couldn't even use the sink. That plunge our toilet, to even use it. I had to get buckets of water from neighbors because the tub, turn the tub on, the faucet just falls off because it's dry rot. So at this point, we can't take showers either. Um, I'm like, I sat there and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I can't keep going on like this. I'm going to get go, different gas stations just so we can lock the door and try to sneak in there and take showers, because we can't use the tub. Um, we can't flush the toilet, like we can't really live here, you know. Um, then I'm trying to dry my clothes. That I'm walking down the basement steps and the whole step just collapsed and I fly through the steps. I fractured my ankle on both sides. I have to have surgery for nerve damage because if I stand on my ankle too long now, it swells up like over top of my tennis shoes. It's like it fluffs out over top of them. And the type of job that I do requires me to be on my feet. So I was out of work for a while. I can't get out there and, play with my kids anymore because I can't run. My knee is messed up. It's just a lot. Like, it's like, this is like a nightmare that I'm waiting to wake up from, and it's like, when is it going to get better for me? Because I'm not lazy. I'm not sitting there trying to depend on the system. I work a lot, so much that I barely get any sleep. Even now that we're here where we are, where you guys put us, um, I still can't sleep because I'm too busy thinking like, okay, yeah, this is for now. What's going to happen when we check out of here? You know what I mean? And it's like, I should be relaxing. Like we finally got a comfortable place for it right now, but I still know we have to leave here. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? My kids, my youngest, he still, has accidents. Can't send him to school smelling like that. Then I'll have CYS all over me. And I'm a very good mom. I'm doing this by myself. I don't get no help from nobody. And I rarely ask for help. So this is like, it's embarrassing and it's stressful. And then, I got to deal with truancy. The school don't, they don't really know what's going on. So, I choose wisely who I tell about things because kids are very cruel. You know what I mean? And if the teacher happens to say something and someone hears it, I don't want my kids getting picked on. They already had to deal with being bullied, getting beat up, people coming to my house to jump them. It's just a nightmare. And I'm just praying for a miracle that like some type of way that I can get them to where they're comfortable and to where I can be comfortable and I can go to work and I can know they're okay, and that's basically what I'm looking for right now. Like that would be the biggest blessing ever. I don't care about anything else other than my kids having a stable place, and I just want to be somewhere where I can stay for a while till they at least graduate, you know.
Whew, my goodness. My goodness. I'm so sorry that this has been y'all story. And so undeserved. Like I know, right? Like, because I've been walking a lot of this path with you. Like I know how hardworking you are, and the fact that this just keeps happening, and it just like exposes like the system's failure, right? Like because to my knowledge, like were all of these places Section 8 approved?
Yeah, and I told my caseworker, she's a sweetheart, but it's more than just her in the system. And I was like, Sarah, this is happening. She said, I know. She said, I've tried to communicate with her. She won't communicate with me. I said, well, I need to go somewhere. Like I can't even cook for my kids because the water. You know what I mean? Then she don't pay any of her bills. I've been paying sewage bills. I've been paying plumbers for estimates to come snake the toilet. I don't have a savings anymore because of her. I had a savings that I planned on taking my kids out of town to get them away from here just for a little 4-day vacation. I spent it, you know.
Wow, that's that's wild. And so, if I heard you correctly, And so this is Section 8 housing. So there was an inspection process, like there was an application process on her side, like there was check boxes she had to make before she could even be a person with housing on the market. And so somehow she passed all of those checkpoints to put this place on the market that clearly was not, it should have never been on the market. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, well, the housing manager he's good friends with some of the inspectors because he's in like some type of democratic, like he's into, he's cool with the mayor and all of that stuff. So he knows a lot of the housing inspectors. So there was a lot of things that they closed their eyes about. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And he just promised them that he would have it done, but it never got done. He doesn't even communicate with me. He doesn't talk to me. I've texted, I've begged, I've pleaded. There's text messages where I told him I fell through the steps. The steps is still down there. My son's bedroom is down there. He has to hop over the step every night to go to bed.
Wow. That is wild. And so when you told Section 8 that this is what's going on, what was their response like after learning that this place is not safe for you to live in?
They gave me a listing and told me I wish you luck. They gave me a moving voucher and a rafter and basically said I'm basically on my own. They said they don't get into landlord tenant disputes and told me to make some phone calls. So
I don't
I was
understand.
just like, I just was like, this is crazy. I can't even go down there to that bag at the bottom of the steps. That's the bag of laundry I was carrying when I fell through the steps.
Wow.
I was
First,
just lucky that, and then ever since then, like Jello. When I'm walking up like a steep hill or anything like that, my knee pops. Uh, I used to go to the gym 3 days a week. Can't do that because I'm always in too much pain.
hmm,
And then I don't take pain medicine except for like the stuff I can buy, like because I can't take that hard stuff. So like, there's really nothing I can do besides go to the orthopedic surgeon. Yeah, because I have nerve damage and I have fluid around my ankle now.
I wanna circle back to what you said that Section 8 does not get involved in tenant landlord disputes. I
Yeah.
don't understand. I don't understand that because if Section 8 is supposed to be like like the housing stabilization, whatever, and if they are in charge of making sure that the landlords are meeting all of these requirements prior to even letting you stay there, how are they not involved? Like I don't understand. How do you take on this responsibility? Walk through all of these checkpoints, be funded for this work, and be like, oh, our hands are clean. Excuse me. I don't understand how that would ever be the case. It doesn't make sense to me. Now I wanna jump back to what you were saying about like just the stress, the trauma that you and your family have been dealing with. I heard you when you said that your youngest is now struggling in these different ways, like in a way that is really indicative of trauma. Now I'm not gonna pretend to be any sort of uh clinician or a person that works with your family. I don't. However, I will say that in circumstances when you're unhoused in this really like abrupt and unfair way, and then having to live in a shelter that quite frankly sounds inhumane, um and having to not know where you're laying your head and having to deal with being bullied. I could imagine what I and what we do know is like the issues that he's having are issues that are indicative of being traumatized. Like that regressive behavior is indicative of trauma. And I'm certain that he's not the only one in your household that is dealing with like just the heaviness. So I just wanted to sit and ask, like, what has that been like? What has this felt like for you and your babies?
Well, as far as him, he has never been like this. He's never been as much like he has accidents here and there, but now it's every day. And then my other son, he asked me, "Mom, can you get me a counselor?" And I was like, why, baby? I said, if you need to talk, you can talk to me. He was like, I know, but you work a lot, and I just really want to talk to somebody else. And I hope you don't feel like I'm being mean. It's just, I need to talk to somebody. Then my other son, he's just acting out. He's acting like somebody that I don't even know anymore. Like, he just snappy, but I know it's not really towards me. He's like, we shouldn't have to live like this. You know what I mean? And it's like, my hands are tied. I don't know what to do. You know, my daughters don't want to go outside. They act depressed, want to always sit in their rooms and stuff. Like, it's just too much. And like, it just feels like, it feels like I'm so helpless because I don't know what to do. I don't know. I can't sit there and lie and tell them, well, it's going to be okay because I've been saying that for 2 years. We've been going through this. And they're probably like, at this point, we don't even believe you no more because you keep saying it's going to be okay and it ends up not being. So I don't know. I just pray to God and I just keep in. The pastor told me to have a faith of a mustard seed,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I intend on doing. I'll just keep praying and keep having faith, and then, maybe, I'm coming through the fire right now to find the water. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's your babies, right? Like the heaviness that your children are dealing with. And unfortunately, like trauma is a really difficult thing to move through, especially when it's in adolescence. So I'm so deeply sorry that that they're dealing with that. But I want to ask if it's okay, what has all of this been doing to you? How have you been feeling and navigating?
I have a nervous breakdown. Like, less than a mom. Uh, I just been very, very depressed. I don't even feel like doing my hair. I barely sleep. I don't care about my clothes, nothing. I haven't had a new pair of shoes in so long because I keep just spending the money I had to buy them things and to pay for places for us to go to take showers and stuff, to the point where I guess I'm trying to buy them happiness and I can't. They were never like this before all this started happening. They were real happy. They were always outside with their friends and stuff. Now it's like they're just angry all the time.
Wow. Wow. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I would be too. I would be
Yeah.
too. So this is in Duquesne, right? This house.
Yeah, and that I'd advise anybody, do not move there, especially if you have children. If you're by yourself, that's fine. But if you have children, don't do it. My children been shot at. There's been a gang of kids and came tried to jump my kids because they're not part of the clique.
Mm.
My kids are not like that. They didn't. I didn't raise them around that type of stuff. So of course, and I'm the type of mom, you better have your butt around or in the house by the time it starts getting dark, or I'm coming to look for you with vengeance with me. And the rest of these kids out here, they're allowed to do whatever. They're allowed to stay out till 1, 2 in the morning, curse. They curse me out. They talk to me like I'm just one of their friends or something. Call me all types of names. They call me a police caller because I'll call the cops. I'm not gonna be sitting out here arguing with nobody's children, and I'm not gonna tolerate disrespect. So I just really I just want to get out of there. I just really do. Every time I go back there, I get instantly sad. You
That's
know.
that's heavy. And quite frankly, if the house that y'all are living or were living in is any indication to the rest of the area, I'd imagine why the other kids are all over the place, because if that's how they're living, and I'm not saying that they are, I don't know, but I am saying that, like, if this is what the what the common theme is in that particular area, I'm not
I'm
surprised.
like a neighborhood mother, Shannon, because like even though there's some kids that are really nice with my kids, they come over, Miss Tamika, I'm hungry. I'll make sure I make them a plate. You know what I mean? There was this one little boy who he was at my house for so long, I forgot he was even somebody else's kid. You know what I mean? And I'm like that because I don't like to see no kid hungry or anything like that. I don't know. My mom always said I wear my heart on my sleeves. And that's my biggest problem, I guess. But at the end of the day, I don't regret it. You know what I mean? I just feel like it takes a village. You know what I mean? And if I gotta be a one man village, then that's so be it. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. My mom was the neighborhood mom too, that all the
Yeah.
kids we felt safe with, and I think that's necessary, right?
Right.
It's unfortunate that our babies and our families and us we have to live out here like that, and these and folks just literally don't care. I want to
No.
talk about this landlord because I mean, what you shared with me is so insane to me. Like it's like I can't I can't fathom, first of all, treating anybody like this. Like, and I can't fathom being so unconscionable. Like, I can't, it doesn't make sense to me. So, first, I want to ask now, my understanding is this landlord, she's not from here at all. She's from Canada. Oh, hold on.
She's from Canada. We have a language barrier because I guess she's from the Indian descent. Um, but she's very mean and nasty. She calls me you people. She said you people always need something because I told her about the toilet and I was like, I have to get buckets of water to flush. Ah, you people, and I'm like, what? I was like, what? I said, Miss Nipper, I said, what is that supposed to mean? I said, this is your house. You know what I mean? If I'm paying you $1,641 a month, and that is killing me, I shouldn't have to ask you for anything. I shouldn't have to, as long as I put it in, if I put in a request, come. If it's something that you feel like my kids did, if they dropped the toy down the toilet, I'll pay for it. But please come help me. No. She was like, I need to pay my bills, so pay your rent early, please. Stuff like that. I was like, this she can't be serious. Like, is there am I being pranked? Like I was like, she was like, when I told her I fell through the steps, she said, oh well, you can't sue me. I'm selling the house. Then she said, if my house is hurting you, why are you still occupying it? Well, duh, because I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and I seen those messages when we talked about your conversation. So it sounds like to me that she's just basically trying to like force y'all out of your home, so that
Yeah, she says she's selling it, that I need to leave now. And I'm like, trust me, I want to leave now. It's just I can't find anything. I
now.
just really can't wait till I'm at the point where I can. So I'm in school too, 2 days a week. As soon as I graduate, um, I plan on getting a better job, and that way I can just leave Section 8 alone completely. Because I just been having nothing but terrible luck with Section 8 houses. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if it's everywhere, so I can't speak on other areas. But North for Sales, the one house I got there, Duquesne, and Knoxville. That was the other house. I
Wow.
guess it depends on who the landlord is. I know if I ever own a house or get to the point where God blesses me to buy some property and I get tenants, I'm going to treat them the way I would want someone to treat me. You know what I mean? I'm going to fix things that needs to be fixed and stuff. I would never have, especially I'm a single mom, I'm mom and dad. You know what I mean? So like I'm going extra hard. You know what I mean? And I'm raising boys that I got to look up to because they're very tall. You know what I mean? And I still have to stand strong, because I don't know how to be a man, but I know how to raise a good man. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do. But with me being so stressed out, I don't even really have the time to even put energy into any of that because I've been working 70 hours a week, Shannon, just so we can get back, then going to school 2 days a week.
Wow.
It's like I don't barely have time to do anything. It's like my mind is running 100 miles an hour, and I just want to be able to woosah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just think it's like my brain is just broken or something.
And so I know you have seven babies all together, five who are still in the home. How old are your five who are at home?
16, 15, 13, 12, and 9.
Mhm. My goodness. And what has been the timeline of all of this from the time that the housing stuff started to now?
2021.
So 21 to now, so the past 3 years or so, y'all have moved to three separate houses
For well, yeah, three separate houses and a shelter,
in this.
and a number of hotels.
Wow. So in the past 3 years, y'all have just been bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
Like gypsies.
Mm,
They haven't had a stable life. They're all failing in school. Like it's just too much. You know what I mean? Because how am I supposed to send them to school if I got to be here and then I got to be here and then I got to be here and then they can't bathe, so they don't want to go to school smelly, and then this and then that and then this. It's like I don't know what to do. I just want somewhere stable where they can graduate. They're very smart. If you sit there and give them a book, they can read it front to back.
mm,
Give them even my 16-year-old. You can give her college math, and she
yeah.
can do it. She's scared to go to the bus stop. Then she don't want to go. She can't wash her hair. She's a real girly girl.
Mhm.
And she can't take a shower. No one wants to go to school smelly. No one wants to get picked at. You know what I mean? No one wants to go to school. I can't even wash clothes. It's just it's so stressful. It is so stressful. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that after all this is said and done, we're gonna definitely need some counseling. I know for sure I do.
Mm. Yeah. For anyone who sees this, if you are a therapist, a counselor, or if you're connected with anyone, please do reach out so we can get them some support because this is ridiculous. No one deserves to live like this. And for the record, I've worked with one of your babies, and I can tell you all very much so like how smart and astute her child is. And so I'm sure that that's indicative of the rest of them as well. I mean, like I said, like this mom hustles. Samia, you are a hustler. Not only do you hustle, but you're so intentional about your babies in your life, like which is why like it's infuriating that y'all are dealing with this because literally you've done everything right. You've done everything right. And let me also say, even if you weren't, no one deserves to live like this. Like no one deserves to deal with this at all. Absolutely wild. And so, like I said, shout out again to the AIU. Like they helped us secure the place that y'all are in currently for 5 days. So at least y'all have like some reprieve for a few days or so. Um, but that's only 5 days. And like you said, like what happens next? So I'm gonna ask you if there are folks who are reaching out and wanting to support. And like I said, shout out to everybody who has been showing up, stepping up. Like, what do y'all need? Like just being there and being present as much as possible. What what do you all need? How can people show up for y'all right now?
Anything. It could be a prayer. Um, it could just be checking on me. You know what I mean? I'm not about with money or any of that. You know what I mean? That would help, but just so I can have somewhere to go until I can figure out what my next move is. This woman is threatening to put my stuff outside when I go to work. I forgot to mention that. She said, "Don't be surprised if your things are sitting outside because I won't pay her rent for this month." Why would I? I just paid your $1,200 sewage bill. I just paid a plumber for an estimation. I've been staying at hotels. I haven't even been able to be in the house this month. You've been getting money from me every month on time. I'm not one of those that just sit back and think I'm supposed to live for free. Nobody does. But you got to be outside your mind to think that I'm going to give you rent for this month and I can't even live there. You know what I mean? I can't. What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to pull that from? You know what I mean? But if anything helps. I don't care how little, how small. I just want to have somewhere to be until I can figure out where I'm going to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to make sure that I say this for you, for you and anyone who's listening, she can't just put you out on the street. Let's be clear about that. So if she sends somebody in there to take your stuff out, that's illegal. There's a whole process, as you know. Like if she wants to evict you, she has to take you to court. And then the judge will hear how she's been not taking care of the place or whatnot. Like, and how you've been ponying up for her bills when it comes to the utilities and the things not being taken care of. So you've been taking care of them. But she can't
Right.
just come in and put your stuff out. So for anyone else who's dealing with the same thing, and the landlord is threatening to just put you out on the street and trying to get you to move out the house, don't leave your house. Do not leave your house, and make sure that they know, like, if you touch my stuff, I'm pressing charges. Like there's a process to eviction. You can't just say like, oh well, you got to get out of my house. Quite frankly, I'm still wondering how she was able to just jump out of the Section 8 program when she jumped in. Like, I don't understand how that even happens. Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
You seen the message where I did tell her, I said, if you come fix these things, I have no problem getting your rent money together for you. She said, get your stuff and get out now. Didn't you read that?
I
Like,
did.
she doesn't care. She wants to sell it. She abandoned the house. At this point, we're squatters.
Mm, mm.
And that is I've never imagined myself being one of those.
And again, I don't understand how Section 8 is just hands off with this, because like you would not be in this position if she was not accepted into Section 8 to begin with. And
The only thing they told me is that we're kicking her off. We're going to kick her off the section. I said, okay, but I still don't have anywhere to go.
and if she's still in the Section 8 program, how are you on the hook for the entire rent to begin with?
If that's not the whole rent, she's charging $2,000 a month for that house. My portion is $1,641.
None of that makes sense. None of it makes sense. And
And
okay.
if you see that house, there's no way she should have been able to even pull that off.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for why that should not have been pulled off. Like I'm wondering what the median income or the rent is in that area, because whatever, I'm not going to speculate. Um, and I did hear you say, like, like prayers and any type of support. But I'm going to press if anyone does want to give monetarily. Like I said, they got 5 days there. If we can extend that time until they can find some place, that would be helpful. So I'm going to put in the chat a donation link. So if you wanted to send it to the Wellness Collective, which is our partners, because it's me, like with both my agencies, so that you can get a donation letter, like you can do that. I'll put that in the comment section, like I said. But you can also hit her daughter's Cash App, which is 21 Princess with 3 S's, or you can hit Tamika's Chime account, which is Miss Beautiful 40. So again, like if you want to be supportive of this family financially, you can either do directly through the Cash App or the Chime account. Again, the Cash App is here in the Chime account, or in the comment section. Like I said, I put in a donation link. That'll go to the Wellness Collective, and it'll handle paying for extended stays for where they are right now. And if just as a note, if there is any surplus of money that's donated that doesn't need to go towards the stay, it'll just go directly to Tamika. So just so y'all know how I deal with, like, donations and funding stuff. I don't keep anybody's anything. When it's meant for whoever it's meant for, that's who it goes to. Oh, and I see there was a question about how much of it is it a night. I can't say off the top of my head. I don't remember it, but it's 100 something a night. And again, shout out to the AIU. They pay almost $800 for them to stay for these 5 days. They actually added on when they found out like how many people. I don't know how they didn't know how many people it was, but they added another $150, which whatever. But it was almost $800 initially, and then it was a little bit more, but we're here. So if there's anybody who is, like I said, anyone who wants to be supportive of the family, feel free to please do consider financially supporting them. Otherwise, like if you have leads for houses, they need a 4 or 5 bedroom. Shout out to T. Cole. I can't think of the name of his company. Terrence Coleman. He did reach out immediately and was like, like I have a place, but he only had a 3 bedroom. And I can say T. Cole is very, very, on top of how he, manages property, beautiful properties. He takes it seriously. He's not an out of town developer that doesn't care about people. So, big shout out to him for, showing up. Daniel Jones also for, tagging T. Cole in the first place. Very much support or appreciate you all for jumping on it immediately. So if there are any other landlords who actually care about people, like actually care about your tenant, because I know there's a lot of you out here, It is our intention to be able to highlight and connect with landlords who actually care about the quality of their housing stock and the people who are living in them. So, like, if you are a landlord or know a landlord or a property manager, please feel free to reach out. Again, we're looking for 4 and 5 bedrooms. If you don't have them, please reach out anyway, because Tamika's story is not unique, unfortunately. And so, like, as long if we are able to identify who is safe, and what is not, that's so helpful for our people, for our neighbors, so we know who to point them in the directions, because Tamika, unfortunately, it looks it looked like it was a good situation. In my understanding, y'all did the walkthrough, everything looked good until y'all got in there, and then everything just started falling apart. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Mm. So we can avoid that happening to anybody else. If you are, like I said, if you're a landlord, and if you have, or a property management manager, and you have a 4 or 5 bedroom, please reach out. And I would love to get you connected with Tamika so that we can get this family safe and housed. She is hardworking. She has a job. She pays her bills. Her kids are beautiful and well behaved. Like they do not. No one deserves to be in this situation. If you are a landlord or property manager, generally that cares about the quality of housing and care about the people living in your properties, reach out and send us a line, say what's up, like, because I just want to know you. Because like I said, Tamika's story is not unique at all. We have folks all of the time telling us these horror stories. I would love to be able to identify, like, this is the person, this is where you want to go. So, Tamika, I'm going to ask you, is there anything else that you want to share today? Anything else that feels important or that's heavy on your heart? Oh, hold on here. Oh, I think I got a bad connection. Can y'all see me? I think I'm frozen. Oh, so I was just being silly for no reason. All right, well, Tamika is frozen, but that's okay. Tamika, I do want to thank you for, she got jumped off. Okay, we'll see if she's able to hop back in. But in the meantime, in between time, if you are just jumping in, just joining us, I highly encourage you to run this back and listen to the entire story. I mean, it's harrowing. Like, I mean, I can't, I just can't. Like, like, it's been 3 years, and in 3 years, there's 3 houses, a shelter, and a number of hotels and wherever else that they can stay. It's been a number of paying people to use their shower for 3 years. I could not imagine having to live in such circumstances. So big shout out to Tamika and her, just like her heart, her will, and her willingness to continue to show up. Very much praying for you, and thank you, and big shout out to everybody who has reached out, who has connected, who has, like, done all of the things, who have held this family in your heart and your prayers. Again, if anybody is interested in donating so that we can keep them there where they are right now for as long as possible until we're able to rotate them into a safe place, a long-term home, please feel free, and please consider donating. You can do so via Cash App at 21 Princess. There's 3 S's there, or via Chime. Chime is Miss Beautiful 40. Or if you'd like to, you can definitely donate via the Wellness Collective. That link is in the comment section there. If you donate via the Wellness Collective, you will receive a donation letter, and try to be very transparent. I don't touch money; it goes to our fiduciary, and then we get it to where it needs to go. So it'll go straight to extending the stay of the mom and the kids. And if there are any surplus of funds that's raised, it'll go directly to Tamika, so she can do whatever it is that she needs to do with it. Again, like, I don't play around with people's money. It goes to where it needs to go, and that's it. So I want to thank y'all for joining us today. Again, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's a wild story. This mother has been through the ringer, even like to the point where it's injured her physically, injured her and her babies mentally and emotionally, that they're going to have to deal with for years to come. And some of it may not be ever be dealt with or fully healed. And that's just an unfortunate thing because they didn't do anything to deserve this. This landlord Nipa or Nipa, however you say her name. I'm praying for you, sis. And that's all I'm gonna say with that. But I do think there needs to be some accountability. So if there's someone in Duquesne's government on here, or who is a state representative out in that area, we'll be contacting you as well. Because if this is who the type of landlords that are in this area, I definitely think there's something should be done about it. And if there's anything that y'all can do to support this family, who's also your constituent, we're definitely going to reach out to ask for your support as well. So that'll do it for today. Thank you all again. Please share this video, share her story, consume her story. We need folks to witness what this family has been going through, if for anything else, for her healing and validating that she is not, any type of way for feeling the heaviness that she's feeling after what she's been through. This will conclude this episode. I will see y'all here soon. We'll be back in full swing. I very much appreciate this space. I've been trying to put it down for some time now, but every time I try, something like this happens and shows how important the space is. So thank y'all and see you around.